Hello there, and welcome back to the channel. In today's story, we'll explore an alternate timeline where Anakin Skywalker comes back to the light during Operation Nightfall. I hope you enjoy. Now let's dive in. Our story begins on Coruscant. The Chancellor's office was ablaze with violence. Lightning arced wildly across the chamber, illuminating shattered transparasteel and overturned furniture. The hum of lightsabers cut through the air. Anakin Skywalker stood frozen near the doorway, breath shallow, heart hammering, watching the final confrontation unfold. Mace Windu towered over Chancellor Palpatine, his purple blade locked against a crackling storm of Sith lightning. Palpatine's face was twisted, no longer hiding behind the kindly mask of the Republic's beloved Chancellor. The dark side poured from him in waves so dense, it made Anakin's skin prickle. "You are under arrest, my lord," Windu said through clenched teeth. "You have lost." Palpatine's yellow eyes flicked to Anakin. "I am too weak," he rasped, his voice suddenly frail, almost pitiful. "Anakin, help me." The words struck Anakin like a physical blow. For days, weeks, Palpatine had filled his mind with poison and promise. Secrets of life and death, whispers of saving Padme. And now at the brink, Anakin stood at the center of it all. Windu, rigid and unyielding. Palpatine, broken yet familiar. Windu pressed harder, forcing Palpatine's lightning back into his own body. "He is too dangerous to be left alive," Windu declared. Those words echoed. Too dangerous. Anakin's thoughts spiraled. If Windu killed him, if the Sith Lord died, then everything Palpatine had promised vanished with him. Padme's life, their future, their child. Fear overwhelmed reason. "No!" Anakin cried out. He moved without thinking. His lightsaber ignited with a sharp snap hiss, blue light flashing through the room. One precise strike. Mace Windu's hand fell to the floor. Time seemed to stop. Windu cried out in pain, shock, and disbelief etched across his face. He turned toward Anakin, pain and betrayal filling his eyes. Anakin gasped, stumbling backward, horror flooding his face as he looked at his own hands. His saber trembled. Palpatine did not hesitate. A roar of hatred erupted from him as lightning surged with renewed fury. Windu screamed as the energy consumed him, lifting him into the air, driving him backward. The transparasteel windows shattered outward in a deafening explosion, and Mace Windu vanished into the endless night of Coruscant. Silence followed, broken only by Anakin's ragged breathing. The storm clouds outside swallowed the scream. "What have I done?" Anakin cried as he fell to his knees. The weight of the galaxy crashed down on him all at once. A Jedi Master was dead by his hand, by his choice. There was no undoing it, no explaining it away. Palpatine slowly rose from the floor, his movements deliberate, predatory. The lightning faded. The frail act was gone. "You have done well, Anakin," he said softly. Anakin looked up, tears brimming in his eyes. I couldn't let him kill you," he said, voice shaking. "I need you. I need your knowledge." Palpatine smiled, not kindly but with satisfaction. "To save your wife," he whispered. "To save your child." Anakin's shoulders slumped. The fight left him. The choice felt made, whether he wanted it or not. "I will do whatever you ask," Anakin said quietly. Palpatine placed a hand on his shoulder, fingers cold and heavy. "Good," the Sith Lord said. "Then you shall become more powerful than any Jedi." Anakin bowed his head, shame and fear twisting together in his chest. "Henceforth," Palpatine intoned, "you shall now be known as Darth Vader." The name felt like a chain that wrapped around his heart. Sidious did not wait. He ordered Darth Vader to take a battalion of his clone troopers and storm the Jedi Temple. "We will catch them unbalanced," Sidious hissed. The night over Coruscant had grown unnaturally dark. Low thunder rolled across the skyline as gunships screamed through the air toward the Jedi Temple. In their wake followed a single figure standing at the open ramp, cloak billowing, lightsaber hanging at his side like a weight he could barely carry. Darth Vader. The name echoed in Anakin Skywalker's mind, foreign and suffocating. He stood among the ranks of the 501st Legion, their white armor reflecting the temple's distant spires like a wall of faceless judgment. Thousands of clone troopers stood in perfect formation, rifles locked, awaiting a single command. Anakin did not look at them. His eyes were fixed on the temple. For a moment, memory intruded. Him as a boy standing wide-eyed at the same steps, awed by the order that had taken him in. The place where he had grown, laughed, trained, failed. Palpatine's voice crackled through his calm. "Lord Vader," the Emperor said calmly, "the time has come. Execute Order 66. Across the galaxy, the command rippled outward like a death knell. Anakin felt it in the Force. Jedi extinguished in an instant, screams cut short, presences vanishing like stars collapsing into darkness. His chest tightened, breath catching as the magnitude of it struck him. The clones moved. In perfect unison, the 501st began their march up the temple steps. Each step felt heavier than the last. As they climbed, Anakin's thoughts spiraled. He pictured the temple's halls, not as battlegrounds but as sanctuaries. He saw the medical wing where healers tended wounded knights returning from the front. The archives watched over by patient librarians, the elders who could no longer fight, the children, younglings. They had no part in this war. His stomach churned. The dark side surged in response, flooding him with heat and pressure, smothering doubt beneath a crushing sense of inevitability. "This is mercy," the whisper came. "Better they die quickly than suffer later." Anakin clenched his fists. "I'm ending their suffering," he muttered under his breath, as if trying to convince himself. "This is the only way." They reached the top of the steps. The massive temple doors loomed before them, illuminated by the harsh glow of gunship lights. The clones halted, forming ranks behind Anakin, blasters raised. Then a figure approached. Gate Master Jurok, tall and imposing, his ceremonial robes flowing as he descended the steps to meet them. His expression shifted from confusion to concern as he took in the sight of the clone army. "Skywalker," Jurok said cautiously, "what is the meaning of this? Why are there clone troopers at the temple?" Anakin said nothing. He stepped closer. Jurok sensed it then, the wrongness, the cold void clinging to Anakin like a shadow. "Anakin?" he began. In one swift motion, Anakin raised his lightsaber, pressed it to Jurok's chest, and ignited it. The Gate Master gasped once before collapsing lifelessly onto the stone. The clones did not react. Anakin looked down at the body, his jaw tight, his voice barely above a whisper. "You have no idea." He turned to the Legion. "Surround the temple," he ordered, his tone flat and distant. "Begin the attack." Blaster bolts erupted instantly, filling the air with thunder and light. The Jedi Temple, heart of the Order for 1,000 generations, became a battlefield. Anakin stood at the threshold, watching clone troopers pour inside, cutting down fleeing Jedi in a storm of blue bolts. He did not move at first. He only watched. And somewhere beneath the armor of the Sith, Anakin Skywalker began to break. The Jedi Temple burned from the inside out. Blaster fire echoed endlessly through marble halls once filled with calm voices and the gentle hum of training sabers. Smoke curled along the ceiling, carrying the acrid stench of scorched stone and ozone. Bodies, Jedi and clone alike, littered the corridors. Anakin moved through it all like a ghost. He cut down a Jedi Knight who charged him in desperation. He deflected blaster bolts with mechanical precision. Every motion was efficient, detached, exactly as Sidious had taught him. And yet, With every step, the weight in his chest grew heavier. Faces flashed through his mind. Friends, teachers, rivals. Jedi he had laughed with in the temple halls now lay motionless at his feet. Their presence in the Force winked out one by one, leaving behind a suffocating emptiness. Then he heard them. High-pitched voices, panicked, close. "Master Skywalker!" A group of younglings and Padawans rounded the corner, fear etched into every face. They ran toward him without hesitation, hope breaking through their terror the instant they saw him. "Please," one of them cried, "the clones are—" Anakin's body locked in place. He stared at them, his mind screaming at him to move, do something. But no command came. His lightsaber felt impossibly heavy in his hand. Before he could speak, a squad of clone troopers rushed in behind the children. "Jedi targets identified," a clone barked. "Wait!" Anakin started. Blaster fire erupted. The younglings fell. The sound hit Anakin harder than any blow. Small bodies struck the floor, lifeless, their eyes still wide with confusion and betrayal. The Force recoiled. Anakin staggered backward, breath hitching, his vision blurred as the reality of what he had allowed slammed into him. "This is what I've become." He looked down at his hands, hands that had once freed slaves, that had saved worlds, and felt only horror. Padme's face flashed in his mind. What if this was her? What if this was our child? The thought shattered what remained of his resolve. "No," he whispered. "This is wrong." The clones moved past him, continuing their slaughter. Anakin turned. He ran. Blaster bolts screamed past him as he charged deeper into the temple, not to kill, but to save. He cut down clone troopers now, his strikes desperate and furious, his blade flashing blue as he carved a path through the chaos. "Follow me!" he shouted, scooping up survivors as he went. Younglings, Padawans, a wounded knight. They followed him instinctively, clinging to the one Jedi who still stood. Anakin led them to the council chamber. Inside, the vast circular room was eerily quiet. A small group of younglings already hid behind fallen chairs, huddled together in terror. Anakin sealed the doors. He moved to the council's central holocommunicator, his fingers shaking as he activated it. "Master Yoda," he said urgently. "Master Plo, Obi-Wan, anyone, please." Static. Silence. No answers came. The realization crushed him. Anakin dropped to his knees in the center of the chamber, his shoulders sagging under the weight of his sins. "I've destroyed everything," he said hoarsely. "I can't fix this. You'd all be better off without me." The Padawans watched him, fear warring with hope. Then one youngling stepped forward. "You're Anakin Skywalker," the child said softly. "Everyone talks about you. You always win, even when things are impossible." Anakin let out a bitter, broken laugh. "I'm not a hero," he said. "I'm the reason this is happening." The child shook their head. "You're still here," they said. "That has to mean something." Anakin closed his eyes. He reached into the Force, not with anger, not with fear, but with desperation. And something answered. The air in the chamber grew still. A familiar presence emerged, calm and warm as sunlight through clouds. Anakin opened his eyes. Across the room stood Qui-Gon Jinn. Anakin's breath caught in his throat. He couldn't speak. "You still have a choice, Anakin," Qui-Gon said gently. "The Force has not abandoned you." Tears streamed down Anakin's face as he listened. "I have always been proud of you," Qui-Gon continued. "Do not give up. Never stop fighting." The image faded. Silence returned. Anakin rose to his feet, something steadier now in his eyes. Not absolution, but resolve. Anakin grabbed his personal communicator and contacted Padme. Her voice was filled with relief. She cried out, asking him what's going on. "I'll explain everything later. Right now, I need you to meet me behind the temple. Wait for my signal. Can you do that for me?" "I'll be there," Padme replied. I'll see you soon, Anakin said as he deactivated his communicator. Anakin then turned to the younglings. Stay close to me, he told the children. Stay calm. I'm getting you out of here. For the first time since kneeling before Sidious, Anakin Skywalker chose the light, and the temple trembled in response. The Jedi temple groaned like a wounded beast. Columns cracked under sustained blaster fire, and smoke poured through the corridors, turning sacred halls into choking tunnels of shadow. Emergency lights flickered red, bathing everything in the color of blood. Anakin moved at the front of the group, lightsaber ignited, every sense stretched to its limit. Stay close, he whispered. No running, no noise. The younglings and Padawans obeyed instantly. Fear still clung to them, but now it was tempered by trust. Wherever Anakin went, they followed, stepping where he stepped, stopping when he stopped. They slipped through service corridors and meditation chambers, sometimes waiting in absolute stillness as clone patrols marched past. When hiding wasn't possible, Anakin struck fast and clean, disarming clones with the Force, cutting power conduits, using the environment to keep blaster fire away from the children. Each confrontation drained him further. With every clone he cut down, guilt stabbed deeper. I gave them the order, he thought. This is my fault. A sudden cry echoed from a nearby hallway. A woman's voice, young, terrified. Blaster fire followed. Anakin's head snapped toward the sound. Stay here, he told the children. Do not move. He sprinted ahead just in time to see a body slammed violently across the floor. Sarah Keto. The young Jedi gasped as she skidded to a stop near the group, struggling to rise. A towering figure advanced after her. A Jedi temple guard, armor scarred, yellow blade humming with lethal intent. His presence in the Force was wrong, fractured, burning with betrayal. The guard raised his saber to strike. Anakin intercepted the blow, blue and yellow clashing in a violent snap of light. Run! Anakin shouted over his shoulder. Sarah didn't hesitate. She scrambled past him, joining the others. The temple guard pressed the attack, powerful and relentless. Anakin barely had time to block, his arms shaking under the force of each blow. Blaster fire erupted at the far end of the hall. Clones. Then, light. A familiar ship rose into view outside the rear balcony, repulsors roaring. Padme. The ramp lowered as the ship hovered dangerously close to the structure. Anakin! Padme cried, standing at the ramp. Get them aboard! Anakin glanced back. Go! He shouted to the children. Now! They ran. The temple guards snarled and pressed harder, forcing Anakin back step by step as clone troopers flooded the hallway, blasters blazing. Padme froze when she saw Anakin locked in combat, deflecting bolts, even as he parried the guards' strikes. Anakin! She screamed. Leave! He yelled. I'll find you! Padme hesitated. Then Sarah grabbed her arm. We have to go, Sarah pleaded. He's buying us time. Padme's eyes filled with tears as she ran to the cockpit. The ship lifted away. Anakin felt it in the Force. Their departure, their survival. Relief surged through him, then pain. The guard came at him with a furious spin, blade flashing. Anakin sidestepped, grabbed the guard's arm with the Force, and slammed him hard into the wall. The yellow blade flickered out. For a brief second, Anakin just stood there, chest heaving. Then more clones poured in. Anakin turned and ran. He sprinted down to the balcony, blaster fire chasing him, then leapt, diving into the abyss of Coruscant's lower levels. Wind howled past him. Darkness swallowed him whole. He woke hours later in a narrow alley, the sounds of the city distant and uncaring. Cold rain soaked his robes. His body screamed in protest as he pushed himself upright. His comlink blinked insistently. Padme. Anakin activated it. Her face filled the screen, relief crashing over her features. Anakin, thank goodness, are you okay? I am, he said softly. Are they safe? Yes, she said quickly. We're hidden, far from Coruscant. Anakin closed his eyes. Good. Padme studied him, fear and love tangled together. What are you going to do now? Anakin looked out at the endless city. The only thing I can, he said quietly. I'm ending this. Padme swallowed hard. Then come back to me, she said, when it's over. Anakin managed a faint smile. I will. The transmission ended. Anakin Skywalker straightened, pain flaring through his body. But his purpose was clear. The temple still burned, the Sith still lived, and the war was not over yet. Coruscant's lower levels were alive with chaos. Sirens wailed in the distance. Gunships roared overhead, sweeping the streets with searchlights as clone patrols fanned out through the city. Holoscreens blared emergency decrees from the new galactic empire, Palpatine's voice echoing through the alleys like a proclamation of doom. Anakin Skywalker moved through the shadows. He had stripped away his outer robes, blending into the crowds, his lightsaber hidden but never far from reach. Every step sent pain through his body, but he ignored it. Pain was familiar. Purpose was new. Ahead of him, 3 clone troopers had a civilian pinned against a wall, shouting accusations of Jedi collaboration. Anakin did not hesitate. With a sharp gesture, he slammed all 3 clones into the Duracrete, knocking them unconscious before they could raise their weapons. The civilian fled without looking back. Anakin knelt, removed a comlink from one of the troopers and slipped into the darkness. He listened. Reports crackled through the channel, temple secured, survivors eliminated, patrol routes established. Each transmission twisted the knife deeper. Then a message came through. Possible Jedi activity detected near the temple ruins. Anakin's heart leapt. He adjusted the frequency, fingers moving by instinct, switching to an old emergency Jedi channel. One few clones would ever think to monitor. This is Anakin Skywalker, he whispered. If anyone can hear me, respond. Static answered him. Seconds stretched. Then, Anakin? The voice was strained, exhausted, but unmistakable. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Anakin had to steady himself against the wall. It's good to hear your voice, Anakin said, emotion breaking through. I thought you were gone. So did I, Obi-Wan replied quietly. Yoda and I barely escaped. We're back in the temple, warning any survivors to stay away from Coruscant. Relief flooded Anakin, followed immediately by dread. I can help, Anakin said. I know Palpatine's patterns. I know where he'll be. A pause, then Obi-Wan spoke carefully. Where are you, Anakin? Alive, Anakin answered, and trying to make this right. They arranged a meeting point, an abandoned tower overlooking the Senate district, close enough to strike, far enough to remain unseen. Anakin moved fast. When he arrived, he found them waiting. Yoda sat cross-legged, eyes closed, his presence in the Force steady, but wounded. Obi-Wan stood nearby, cloak torn, face etched with exhaustion. They turned as Anakin approached. For a long moment, none of them spoke. Anakin broke first, confessing his atrocities. I did this, he said hoarsely. I betrayed the order. I led the clones into the temple. Obi-Wan's face tightened, pain flickering behind his eyes. But he did not reach for his saber. Yoda opened his eyes. Clouded, the past is, the old master said. Fix the future, we must. Anakin bowed his head. The children are safe, he added quickly. Padme took them to Naboo. That caught Obi-Wan's attention. You saved them? He asked softly. Anakin nodded. Yoda studied him for a long moment, then rose to his feet. Decided your fate is not, Yoda said. First, end the Sith we will. They moved together toward the Senate building, slipping through service corridors and security access points Anakin knew all too well. Clone patrols passed within meters of them, never seeing the 3 Jedi ghosts moving through the dark. At the heart of the building, the doors to the Chancellor's office stood closed. A presence waited on the other side. The doors slid open. Darth Sidious sat at his desk, hands folded, smiling as if he had been expecting them all along. "Well," he said pleasantly, "how extraordinary." His gaze settled on Anakin, disappointment flashing briefly across his face. "You could have ruled the galaxy at my side," Sidious said, "if you were not so weak." Anakin stepped forward, igniting his saber. "It takes strength to resist the dark side," he said evenly. "Only the weak give in to it." Sidious rose slowly, laughter bubbling from his throat. If only that were true. With a flick of his wrists, 2 lightsabers flew into his hands. From the shadows behind him, another figure emerged. The temple guard from earlier grabbed his pike, blade igniting with a sinister hiss. The air crackled with power. 3 Jedi stood firm. The fate of the galaxy balanced on the edge of a blade. The Senate chamber became a storm. Lightsabers ignited in a blinding clash of color, blue, green, and red slicing through the air as the fate of the galaxy erupted into violence. The rotunda echoed with thunderous impacts as Force energy cracked stone and shattered balconies high above. Yoda and Obi-Wan moved as one. They leapt toward Darth Sidious, their styles blending. Yoda's whirling Ataru strikes a blur of green light. Obi-Wan's Soresu a perfect, immovable defense. Sidious laughed as he met them, spinning and striking with impossible speed. His sabers a red cyclone fueled by centuries of hatred. Across the chamber, Anakin faced the fallen temple guard. The guard attacked without hesitation, his double-bladed weapons sweeping in wide, brutal arcs. Anakin met him head-on, blue blade flashing as he parried strike after strike. The guard fought with desperation, rage pouring from him like a wound that would not close. "You betrayed everything," the guard snarled. "So did you," Anakin shot back, pushing forward. They moved across the chamber, boots skidding over broken stone. Anakin pressed the attack now, not with fury, but clarity. He was done running from his mistakes. Every movement was deliberate, every strike grounded. The guard overextended. Anakin severed the double blade in a shower of sparks and drove his lightsaber forward, piercing the guard's chest. The man stiffened, disbelief frozen on his face, then collapsed lifelessly to the floor. Anakin turned, just in time to see Sidious unleash his fury. Force lightning exploded outward, slamming Yoda and Obi-Wan into opposite walls. Their sabers clattered across the floor as they fell, unmoving. "No!" Anakin shouted. Sidious turned slowly, his eyes blazing. "At last," the Sith Lord hissed, "just you and me." Anakin stepped forward, igniting his blade anew. "You took everything from me," he said. "It ends now." Sidious lunged. Their sabers collided again and again, the sound deafening. Sidious attacked with savage precision, each strike meant to overwhelm, to dominate. Anakin gave ground at first, pain screaming through his body, but he did not break. He adapted. He let go, not of fear, not of anger, of control. The Force flowed through him, not as a weapon, but as balance. Anakin met Sidious blow for blow, pushing him back across the shattered office. Desks overturned, walls cracked, transparisteel exploded outward as their battle tore the chamber apart. Sidious struck with lightning mid-swing. Anakin absorbed it, teeth clenched, then surged forward, slamming his fist into Sidious's jaw. The Sith Lord staggered. For the first time he hesitated. That was all Anakin needed. In one fluid motion, Anakin spun behind him and brought his blade down. Sidious's head fell to the floor. Silence followed. The dark presence that had loomed over the galaxy for decades vanished, snuffed out like a dying star. Anakin collapsed to his knees, exhaustion finally claiming him. "Obi-Wan, Master Yoda," he said weakly. Moments later, Obi-Wan stirred, then Yoda. They looked up to see Sidious's body and Anakin alive. Obi-Wan's face crumpled with relief. "You did it," he said quietly. "You saved us." Anakin shook his head. "I don't deserve thanks." Together they fled the Senate before Imperial forces could arrive. Weeks later, sunlight bathed the hills of Naboo. Padme ran to Anakin the moment he stepped into her family's summer home, wrapping him in an embrace that said everything words could not. Behind her, younglings laughed softly as they reunited with Obi-Wan and Yoda. The war was over. Palpatine's truth was revealed. Bail Organa was elected Chancellor. Order 66 was dismantled, the clones freed from its shadow. The Jedi left Coruscant, choosing Tython to rebuild. Not the old order, but something wiser, and Anakin Skywalker. He did not follow. He stood by the lake, watching the stars with Padme at his side. Luke and Leia were born healthy. "I can't be a Jedi anymore," he said quietly. "Not after what I've done." Padme took his hand. "Then be something better." Anakin lived with the weight of his choices every day. The screams never fully faded. The guilt never left. But neither did hope. To the galaxy, Anakin Skywalker became a cautionary tale. To the children he saved, he was a hero. And to the Force, he was balance, hard-won and scarred, paid for not with glory, but with truth. And that is where our story ends. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing. Comment down below what you thought of the story and what other stories you'd like to see. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one. As always, may the Force be with you.